And now let's try and tune in to no good music from an undisclosed location somewhere in New Jersey. That style, playing guitar.
When that comes on, you're out on the dance floor.
Sammy still rocks, man.
Am I going to listen to this again?
And that's definitely going to be a theme.
You can't make this shit up.
No.
Hello out there, listeners. This is Rob.
And this is Matt.
And we are on show 52.
Ooh, like cards in a deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Good, nice number.
Mm-hmm.
Today, our main topic is, I think we're calling it Concerts of a Lifetime.
Yeah, top 5 live concerts of a lifetime.
Yes.
You know, I'm just wondering, we didn't talk about this, but we're going to get to it later, if it's the best 5 concerts or the most memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, my memory's failing me. But.
Well, I have 5, but I'm saying they're not really in order.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Because we've been to so many concerts over the years. Hundreds.
Right. It's like asking me to choose my favorite child.
Yeah.
I have a top 3 children. Yeah, that's you're in my top 3. Yeah. So, the best 5.
Yeah, even shows at it was the Sands, now it's Wind Creek. I've been to, I think, like 25, 30 shows alone at that venue.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I've got some new music that's come out. Now, one I've been looking really forward to is the Rolling Stones' new album.
Yeah.
Hackney Diamonds. And I was excited to, probably for the first time in a long time, to actually go buy the vinyl album and put it on and listen to it for the first time.
Yeah, like old times. You go and buy it and put it on.
And they released 2 singles on Apple Music. And when the album came out that Friday, I wasn't going to go into Apple Music like I usually do and listen. In the morning, going to work, I'll find a couple new albums or an album to listen to. But I could not find the album, the physical copy. I went to Target. They had like every Taylor Swift album there.
Yeah.
But not the new Stones album. And then the next night, we were going grocery shopping, and there's a Walmart near there. They didn't even have as many albums as Target had. And of course, not the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
But I hear they're phasing out. I know they're phasing out DVDs. I don't know if you heard that. A lot of stores.
Okay.
Because of all the streaming.
Yeah.
And maybe they're going to stop selling vinyl.
So did Walmart have even less?
Yeah.
Even less than they had before.
I don't even think they had any newer albums.
Wow.
You can always get like the Eagles' greatest hits or something like that.
Yeah. Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Michael Bublé, they had his Christmas album at Target. And Taylor Swift, of course. So I ended up ordering it on Target.com.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it till the following Thursday. I listened to it, and it is great. Now, these are some of my favorite songs. Of course, the first single was Angry. And I like the simple guitar riffs.
Mm-hmm.
Mick's voice is just the same as it's ever been.
Yeah.
I think he's 80, 81. Bite My Head Off, another simple riff song. Whole Wide World I liked. You need to check that one out. And here are some of the lyrics. The filthy flat in Fulham, the smell of sex and gas. Behind the bars of prison, you're never getting out. They want to break your balls in those slimy walls. And the guards are lardy louts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And lardy means fat.
Yeah, full of lard.
And lout is like an awkward, stupid person. So there you go.
Yeah.
Now this has a song. This is a song where there's a breakdown, which I call it a breakdown, but it's where it's just mixed voice and not a lot of music going on, and then it goes back in again.
Yeah.
And I always like that.
Break it down.
And then Driving Me Too Hard. And this is kind of in the vein of Waiting on a Friend. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I like that song, actually.
And I even think it could have been a Tom Petty song. Guitar has kind of a country flair to it.
Well, cool.
And then Keith is on one song, Tell Me Straight.
You mean he's singing?
Yeah. And then we have, there's a new Green Day album coming out, not till January 19th. 15 songs. And they released the single, The American Dream Is Killing Me. I don't know if you've listened to it.
No, I didn't get a chance to, yeah.
And this is a song, like an anthem, sing-along, just Green Day likes to do. Some lyrics are, we are not home. Are we not home? Kiss me, I'm dead inside. Who needs suicide? And then it goes right into when the American dream is killing me. So, interesting lyrics.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a song about, everything that's going on in the world.
Yeah. So, are they all Canadian? Or
they're American.
What, Green Day?
Yeah, aren't they?
No, I think they're Canadian. Yeah. I just thinking about the reference of...
I think they're from California.
Really?
I'm looking them up now.
Oh. American Idiot is... wow, I have that.
They're from California.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I'm probably got them mixed up. With Michael J. Fox.
Probably. Or Rush. So they also have there's another song, but it wasn't released as a studio single, but I guess they've been doing this song live, and it's called Look Ma No Brains.
Wow.
That's another one.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. And now we have a segment.
Moody Girl Music Alert.
I couldn't take it.
That's right. It's a Moody Girl Music Alert. I have two new artists that I've maybe not new to you. I don't know. Holly Humberstone. Her album Paint My Bedroom Black.
Paint it black.
Came out September 15th. She's a cross between Olivia Rodrigo and I'd say Natalie Imbruglia and even the Sundays.
Yeah.
You can imagine. She's a 24-year-old from Grantham, England. This is her first full-length album.
Cool.
And you want to check out a song called Kissing in Swimming Pools. And it sounds like it might be about a guy she would like to share some time with, but imagining herself with this person, maybe someone she's pursuing.
Yeah.
To be young and in love.
Very
pleasant song. We have another one. It's Fenne, Fenne, Lily, Lily, Big Picture. Came out April 14th. Very cool album cover, I have to say. It's a snow globe without snow, but it's a globe. And a house that's being sucked into the ground. And there's like a little person, a little figure standing next to the house staring at it.
Wow.
And she has a song to check out is Lights Light Up. And the guitar in that song, certain parts reminds me of The Cure's Pictures of You.
Yeah.
The lyrics are unique in that the first part is someone asking someone something. And then it turns into this person asking, I know it's confusing, asking her the same questions. I mean, maybe one day we'll interview her, but there's a mention of, she mentioned cancer in this song. It's labeled as alternative, but Wikipedia says she's an English folk singer. And she's open for Lucy Dacus, who I've talked about before. And she is in the band Boy Genius with Phoebe Bridgers. And we know Phoebe Bridgers, she is the queen of Moody Girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there a Moody Girl, I mean, it sounds like a new genre of music. Can you get just Moody Girl music like you can get yacht rock?
I don't know. I have a...
certain channel.
I made my own playlist.
Yeah. Very cool. What do you have? What do you have right there, Rob?
We got an email
Oh, okay.
from a musician.
Yeah.
His name is Billy. Hope I get this right. Magerison.
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 But he goes by the name just by his last name.
Okay, Madge.
Yeah. You know, like Cher, Adele, but those are first names. You know.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go by Billy alone. So he's the son of two accomplished jazz musicians. He's a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist who's honed his craft in and around South London, Bristol, and the Southwest, playing a mix of blues, rock, reggae, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
So Billy's debut releases, he doesn't have an album out. He has singles, but they received critical acclaim, and two have been selected as Track of the Week on Radio Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
Billy's also been invited into the BBC Upload studio to do a week of performances. He's been featured on BBC introducing in the West. Maybe that's a radio show.
Mm-hmm.
He is also active online and has amassed over 200,000 views across his social media platforms.
Oh, that's good. Good numbers.
And Billy sent me his new single called Gift. It's got a really great groove to it, very soulful. Just a wonderful song. And we're going to play a little sample of Gift right now.
All right.
I never knew pain until I met you. Why do people make each other feel this way? I'm sorry if my anxiety bores you. The truth is you're probably feeling about the same. So I better go and check my heart out. It don't look so great from what I can see. Is that you give to me? You give to me. That you give to me. Oh. Is that you give to me? You give to me. That you give to me. Oh.
Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that. Thank you, Billy. And we always encourage musicians, singers, songwriters who have recorded in the last couple of years to send us their bio and maybe a song or two, and maybe we'll play it on the show if we like it. So
so that was Billy Magerison.
Yeah, and you can email us at nogoodmusicpodcast@gmail.com.
KNOW, like a radio station.
Yeah,
No
know.
Good Music.
You know.
You know.
We all know.
You know?
So now we're going to talk about albums turning 50, 40, and 30 years old.
50 years old even. Wow, it's like I can't even imagine 50 years old.
I know.
Man.
Okay, so 50 years. We are talking December 1973. We have a couple music news. Not stories, but things that happened. On December 3rd, 1973, CBGB Music Club opens in Manhattan. Wow. And I don't think they're still there. I want to say they're not.
Don't know.
But Matt, can you tell me what those letters stand for? You probably might have known at one time. You suck.
I did know at one time. CBGB. CBGB. I did know at one time.
Well, give me the C. What do you think the C is for?
CBGB. See the band grind with the band. No.
It's different types of music.
Oh.
So what would the C be, you think?
Oh.
Not CB, but C.
C. I'm trying to see what
genre of music starts with C?
Well, you got blues in there. Country blues.
Well, we're talking about the C first.
Yeah, country.
I'll lead you in.
Country.
Okay. And then the BG is a type of music.
Did I get the blues right?
No, you got country. We're going in order here.
Yeah.
Country.
Blues. And
then BG. What's BG?
Bluegrass.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the B, you got the B.
Blues.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so it stands for country, bluegrass, and blues.
Yeah. Which is ironic because I don't know if they ever had any.
Yeah, they probably did.
Maybe blues.
The first month.
Yeah, we're talking 73.
Yeah.
December 31st, brothers Malcolm and Angus Young perform under the name AC/DC at the former Sydney nightclub Checkers for their New Year's Eve party. So it sounds like they performed for the first time under that name. Okay, now we have albums. December 1st, someone who I love is Jim Croce.
Yeah.
I Got a Name. So this is his fifth and final studio album. His first
posthumous.
And this is his first posthumous release. American singer-songwriter, of course. Features the ballad I'll Have to Say I Love You in a Song, which reached number 9 in the U.S. singles chart, and the ballad Salon and Saloon. I don't know if I know that one.
I do not. I know the first song you mentioned, of course.
And it was the last song he recorded in his lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
The song was written by guitarist Maury Mule. Why do I get these words? Muleheisen. And was included on the album as a gift to Jim. The song is noted for its sparse piano-only vocal backing. This would be Croce's, what we said, final album. Mm-hmm. Croce unfortunately died in a plane crash on September 20th, 1973.
Yeah.
So the album came out, like we said, after he passed away. It says it was the day before the album's title song was released. And the title track is also the theme from the film The Last American Hero. And it reached number 10 in the U.S. December 5th, we got Sir Paul and Wings.
Yes.
Band on the Run.
The Undertaker drew a heavy sigh.
So this is my third studio album? No. Okay. Won't do that.
We should interview Paul sometime. I think maybe we could have that come out.
Well, if we interview enough people that know him, we might actually get someone that...
Well, I was thinking right here in the studio, but yeah.
So this is the third studio album by Paul McCartney and Wings. Mm-hmm. It was McCartney's fifth album after leaving the Beatles. And although sales were modest initially, its commercial performance was aided by two hit singles, Jet and Band on the Run. Great song.
Yeah.
That song is so unique and, so complex.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a straightforward song. It became the top-selling studio album in 1974 in the United Kingdom and Australia, in addition to revitalizing McCartney's critical standing. It remains McCartney's most successful album and the most celebrated of his post-Beatles work. Now, the album was recorded at EMI's studio in Lagos, Nigeria.
Wow.
So McCartney wanted to make an album in an exotic location.
Yeah.
Shortly before departing for Lagos, drummer Denny Sewell and guitarist Henry McCullough left the group. And with no time to recruit replacements, McCartney went into the studio with just his wife Linda and Denny Lane.
Wow.
McCartney therefore played bass, drums, percussion, and most of the lead guitar parts, if people didn't know that.
Wow, I did not know that.
Now, the studio was of poor quality and conditions in Nigeria, and things were tense and difficult. I think Jeremy and I, we've mentioned this a couple times, in Jamaica, when AC/DC was recording Back in Black, they were actually given machetes, but not to cut a path, but to cut a bitch.
Yeah.
You know, not
To defend
to
themselves.
defend themselves.
Yeah, wow. I thought you were going to talk about power outages and
Yeah.
stuff, messing up their
Yeah.
recording, but dangerous places. So, Lagos, Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. I
Yeah.
never would have guessed that.
And Paul and Linda were robbed at knife point,
Oh, wow.
losing a bag of song lyrics and demo tapes. So after the band's return to England, they did the final overdubs, and further recording were carried out in London. And we have December 21st is REO Speedwagon, Riding the Storm Out.
Yes.
Now, this is a third album. So I'm a big REO Speedwagon fan, but
Mhm.
I guess I didn't know the history of the band because I didn't know that Kevin Cronin was in the band before this album, but then not on this album or the next couple albums. It was Mike Murphy on vocals. Now, the sessions started out with Kevin Cronin, but he left the band before the album was finished due to creative differences. The title track would later become a hit for the band on their live album after Cronin had returned to the band.
And then he sang it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the song refers to the band being stuck in a harsh winter blizzard after a snow in Boulder, Colorado, at a bar named Tulagi, Tulagi, which is now no longer there. So Kevin Cronin wouldn't return to the band until their sixth album in 1976. Now we're on to 1983.
Okay.
I remember it well.
30 years ago.
Yeah. December. Some music news is...
Wait, that's 40 years ago. I just said 30 years ago.
Yeah, 40.
40 years ago.
Yeah, we were very young back then.
Yeah.
Some news is December 2nd. Michael Jackson's 14-minute music video for Thrillers premiered on MTV. And Fish plays its first show at a Harris Millis cafeteria at the University of Vermont. That was their first
A university cafeteria.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you could play and eat at the same time.
Right. Eat
Maybe
fish.
not sing at the same time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They were serving fish.
And then December 25th, this is kind of, it's sad and
Christmas Day.
and just strange. Marvin Gaye gives his father, as a Christmas present, an unlicensed Smith & Wesson .38 special caliber pistol so that Gaye could protect himself from intruders. I guess his dad couldn't protect himself.
Yes.
A few months later, Marvin Gaye Sr. would use it to shoot his son dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know it was a
I don't
Christmas
know the
gift.
story unless he thought he was an intruder or why he shot him.
Yeah. I didn't know it was a Christmas gift to his father.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting.
And now we have albums. We've got, this is December again, 83. Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon.
Yeah.
Now this is the UK release, December 2nd. And we did not, I didn't cover this last month. November 18th was the US release. It's the third studio album by English heavy metal vocalist Ozzy Osbourne. And the album marks Ozzy's change to a synth-infused pop metal sound. Synth-infused pop metal.
Synth-infused pop metal.
Yeah.
For you.
I guess that's a genre.
Listen, kiddos.
So it was a commercial success, and it peaked at number 19 on the Billboard album chart, and within several weeks of release was certified gold for over 500,000 sales in the United States. Wow. To date, it has sold over 3 million copies in the U.S. In the UK, it was the third of 4 Osbourne albums to attain silver certification. That's 60,000 units sold. This is Osbourne's first album to feature guitarist Jake E. Lee, and only studio album to feature drummer Aldridge. And Bark at the Moon is the only Ozzy Osbourne album on which the songwriting is credited entirely to Osbourne.
Yeah.
But there's a story there.
Yeah.
However, guitarist Jake E. Lee maintains that he composed a significant amount of the album's music.
Right.
But was cheated out of his writing and publishing claims by, who do you think he was cheated out by?
It was obviously Ozzy's wife.
Yes, it was Sharon.
Yeah.
So that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Lee claims that after he composed the songs and completed recording his parts in the studio, he was presented with a contract which stated that he would have no claim to any writing or publishing related to the album. The contract also stated that Lee could not mention this publicly.
I'm burning you, and you can't talk about it.
And he claims that he signed the contract because he had no legal representation and because Sharon threatened to fire him and have another guitarist re-record his guitar parts if he refused. Yeah.
Kick-ass.
Yeah.
Kick-ass Sharon. Sharon's the new Karen.
Ozzy wrote those songs. Ozzy wrote them.
Thank you. Okay, now we're on to 1993. So there's actually nothing going on in December 93.
Yeah, everything else was like December, you know, the gift of the gun and, yeah.
Except, which I'm not going to go into, some Michael Jackson stuff.
Yeah. It's always something going on at Michael Jackson's house. Getting down.
I only have one album that's, memorable or, to talk about. It's the Ramones.
Yes.
And it's called Acid Eaters.
I don't know that album. Yeah. Acid Eater.
Yeah, Acid Eaters. It's the 13th studio album.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was released towards the end of the Ramones' career, and it is the only album entirely composed of cover songs.
Huh. I'd be interested to know what was on there.
Well, it's a musical tribute to the Ramones' favorite artist of the 1960s, highlights the influences the Ramones took from garage rock bands like the Seeds, the Amboy Dukes, as well as from popular bands such as the Beach Boys, the Who, and the Rolling Stones. Though the album is specifically made of covers from the 60s, it was not the first time that they recorded cover songs, which we know.
Mm-hmm, right.
And on most of their albums, they had like a cover song. They did, we got the Rivera's California Sun. Do You Want to Dance was originally recorded by Bobby Freeman, but it says it was the Beach Boys. The Trashmen's Surfin' Bird. That's the thing. If you could you name the original band that did Surfin' Bird?
No, and who is it?
Now we know the Trashmen.
The Trashmen.
Yeah. The Searchers, Needles and Pins. And I didn't know this. It was written by Sonny Bono and another guy, Jack Niches. Yeah.
And which song is that?
Needles and Pins.
Oh. Sonny Bono.
Yeah. Now, the album features several guest singers on backing vocals.
Yes.
Pete Townsend on Substitute. Sebastian Bach on Out of Time. And Tracy Lords on Somebody to Love.
Do we know her? Tracy Lords. It just sounds familiar.
Well, she's an actress.
A porn star.
She was formerly, former porn star. And that she was in John Waters movies.
Yeah. So do you know her like intimately?
No, I don't. She was in, what was she in? Crybaby with Johnny Depp.
Oh, yes.
So according to Johnny Ramone, while he considered Townsend one of the greats and one of my guitar heroes, Pete Townsend was a half an hour late for his session.
Oh, suck.
He wasn't like 3 hours late. And Johnny gave up and left the studio to watch a Yankees game. Mm-hmm. So he was, probably one of his musical heroes, and I guess didn't get to meet him.
Yeah.
Because went to watch the Yankees game. Okay, so that does it for albums.
Yeah.
And next up, we're going to talk about our concerts.
Right.
And Matt and I do not know each other's concerts.
Right. We've come up with these. And, it's not just recently that we came up with these. I think people who enjoy music like you and I do, I think that you go pondering that throughout your life. You kind of have in the back of your mind, what are some of the best concerts you were at? Mm-hmm. And again, like I said earlier, I'm trying to think, was this like what other people would consider the best concert, or was it just memorable? I think there's a lot of side notes.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Right. I think there's a lot of side notes and things that can that got you there, got you there that night.
Because I've been to shows, bands that I like, but I may not remember anything specifically from the concert, itself.
Yeah.
So I tried to pick ones where, definitely tried to pick ones that were memorable for one reason or another, so we'd have something to talk about.
Yeah. Well, how about if I start off and you finish?
Yeah.
All right. Going to start off with May 28th, 1986. Simple Minds and The Call.
Mm-hmm.
Now, very few people know the band The Call. In fact, since probably 1989, I haven't even listened to them.
I couldn't name one song.
Yeah, I'm even having trouble naming a song.
Yeah,
but I liked them at the time, and it was really really good. So this is for Simple Minds tour Once Upon a Time, and it's. I was saying to you earlier about how it was hard to find this on a couple different websites. It didn't come up.
Mm-hmm.
There's actual for our listeners. There's actual websites you go to, and you can log on and you can create your own lists of all the concerts you've been to in your lifetime. But you can search information on concerts you've been to even decades ago.
You might even be able to find a review.
Yeah.
Because there was a thing, kids back in the day, newspapers.
Yeah.
And they would actually put the review. Someone would review the concert.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving you the input there if you didn't make it there.
People probably still, they do reviews now, but, they're on, they're still on, they'll be on social media.
So I thought maybe my memory was bad, but this was indeed on my birthday. So it was my 20th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And some of my great memories for this show, our friend Al, I'll call him Al.
Mm-hmm.
Al and I were sleeping out for tickets. That's another thing that we don't do anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, people, not just when I say we, I mean people, don't do anymore. Let's take you back to 1986. You had to hear about it through like
the radio station.
Okay, or your friends. Yeah, your friends had to hear it on the radio station, or you heard on the radio station, and then you had to figure out, okay, well, who's selling the tickets? The internet wasn't invented for another 8 years or so.
Normally a record store. But I do remember, I think in the Lehigh Valley Mall, there was a ticket place.
Ticketron or Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Ticketron.
And you'd have to be there, like say the ticket, they'd still have a set time when tickets went on sale.
Right.
Say 10 o'clock in the morning. But to get in line and hope that it didn't sell out, you would sometimes need to sleep outside.
I think it was 9 in the morning that they would go on sale.
Yeah.
It was 8, 9, or 10 in the morning, but I think it was 9 in the morning. So we would have found out that, let's say, a month, Rob? About a month before tickets would go on sale?
Yeah, a month or two.
Month or two. So you find out the date they're going to go on sale. So let's say it's Saturday, April 5th. 9 a.m., but it's going to sell out, or you want some of the best seats, and you would sleep out for tickets. So Tim, Al, but all three of us slept out for tickets. So it was wonderful weather when we slept out, and you just hang out and you throw frisbee and you drink if you're 21. I'm kidding. You just hang out with people you don't know, and everyone is into Simple Minds, and it was a great time. So good memory sleeping out for tickets for the show.
And I'm pretty sure the seats were all the same price.
Yeah, they were.
And you get up to the counter and you see what was available.
Exactly. Yeah. So going through with the process for people who don't know sleeping out for tickets. So the next morning, if you slept or not, doesn't matter. The sun's going to come up and wake you up. And, you got to take a piss somewhere, and that's a challenge.
Yeah.
You're thirsty and you're hungry. But you got your money, you got your, $15 for these tickets.
Yeah.
It's big money. And you kind of form in line outside of the, like this was, you said, what mall would this have been? Palmer Park Mall?
Westgate.
Or Westgate Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
one of the smaller malls.
Yeah.
I can picture myself, I don't know if I slept over, but I can picture myself standing out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still to this day.
And then you see people pulling up in their cars saying, "Oh shit, we should have slept out last night," because these people were in line before us. So then around 8 or 9, let's say 8, they open up the doors for the mall, and so you go in, and there's no big rush because everybody is respecting each other and respecting a part in line.
Yeah.
I think I witnessed any fights until New York came, and that's another story.
I think I don't want to say there weren't scalpers, because if you watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High, there was I don't know the character name, but he was selling tickets.
Bacoli.
But there was of course no internet.
Yeah.
Nothing where you could sell them. You had to go up to people. Like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, he was go to the mall and hey, you want some cheap? I have Cheap Trick tickets.
Yeah. So there wasn't the internet yet, but there was some sort of phone or electronic system where the tickets would be on sale for the show at all the Ticketron.
Oh yeah.
Or all the Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
And so you would be in line, 10 o'clock is nearing, and you'd be there first in line because you slept out. And as soon as 10 o'clock comes, or 9 o'clock in this case, I'm sorry, as soon as the hour comes, the little door opens. You don't go in. I think, was this like the old sliding movie ticket, small window?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. So anyway, I
remember going up to a counter.
And then every second counts. Every second counts. Because every minute, they're selling these tickets.
You either take what comes up first, or,
No, I think you just take what comes up first.
Because they would be the best.
Yeah,
at that
they're handing
time,
you the best.
But they could be gone in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. So sleeping out for tickets, that was a thing, and I had a good time doing that. For Simple Mind fans, they played songs like "All the Things She Said," "Don't You Forget About Me," "Promised You a Miracle." "Don't You Forget About Me," of course, was on the soundtrack of The Breakfast Club, I believe. It's The Breakfast Club. The lead singer hated that song. I don't know if he hated it. He really didn't like it and didn't even want that song to get put out. But Pretender's lead, Chrissie Hynde, his wife, said, "No, it sounds great. Go ahead and put it out." And then it was their biggest hit ever in their entire career. One of my best memories, though, from this concert, and I'm almost done, was the last song was a medley. So The Call played, and then Simple Minds played, and it was a combination of Love Song, and let's see if you know this, Sun City, and then Dance to the Music. Sun City was a kind of rebel song. I ain't gonna play in Sun City.
Okay.
Because people were
I think I remember that.
People were boycotting, going and playing in South Africa because of apartheid. So the lyrics are, I ain't gonna play in Sun City. And then Dance to the Music. So the best part, and I can still almost get chills thinking of it, I wasn't a drummer yet, but for the last medley of songs, so for the last part of the encore, The Call came out, but there was 2 drum sets side by side. Everybody's playing. Both drum sets are playing and going to play Sun City. And it's just and 2 full drum sets playing aggressively. I was impressed. I wasn't drumming yet, hadn't touched a drumstick yet for years later, but that was amazing. That was thrilling. Yeah. And I was having a really good time on my birthday. Yeah. Of course, I wasn't drinking. I wasn't 21.
Yeah. What year was that again?
That was 1986.
Okay. So my first one is, of course, Cheap Trick.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, so I have 2 concerts that are sort of a tie. First one is the Union County Music Festival. Now, this was in Cranford, New Jersey. It was an outdoor festival, and they'd have 3 different stages, and it was a free concert, believe it or not.
It's nothing like getting it for free.
And this was 2006. They did concerts up until 2011. I don't know why they stopped. They would get sponsors, like companies to sponsor, I guess, to pay the bands. But I saw a lot of great concerts there. But this was the first time, even though I like Cheap Trick since I don't know.
77, probably.
Yeah, 77, 78. This is the first time I saw them. And this was, of course, with Bunny Carlos, the drummer, who's left the band about 12, 13 years ago. I actually filmed this whole concert, but it's on I filmed it on a Hi8 camera. Mm-hmm. No one came up to me, and I just have to get it off of there to see.
Yeah.
And they had just gotten off their Rockin' the Joint tour with Aerosmith some months before. And again, these concerts, like I said, are memorable for one reason or another, but I don't really remember specific things. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I don't, like when I watch a movie, I don't remember movie quotes.
Right. But you enjoyed the show. You know that you had a good time. Yeah,
it was outdoor, no seats, just like, and this was, like I said, September, so maybe it was a little, cool weather. Mm-hmm. Wasn't too hot. I do have the set list, believe it or not. And if you ever need a set list, there's a website called setlist. Where is it?
Yeah, I was on it just recently.
Setlist.fm, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, setlist.fm. So they always start with hello there. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. They did Big Eyes, Oh Candy, which was from their first album. Mm-hmm. Now, you can also, I don't know if it's the same, I think it's the same website. It'll tell you how many times that a band has played a song.
Wow.
But according to the people who put the set list in there. So I don't know if it's every...
Oh, so just what's recorded by the people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might not be the real number. Mm-hmm.
So according to, Welcome to the World, which is a pretty obscure song. It's off of Rockford. They've done that song just 53 times. And we're talking out of thousands of concerts. If You Want My Love, Come On, Come On, Come On, which is also off of Rockford. Now, Rockford came out in... June of that year, so they were doing some songs from that album because that would have been a fairly new album,
right?
And they do have a song called "Come On, Come On" from In Color. This one's "Come On, Come On, Come On," which is odd.
Come on.
They did "Best Friend," which is off a special one. There are some there's songs on here. Now I've only seen them. I don't know how many times. 7 times.
Shut up!
But some of these songs I've never heard. This is probably the first time I heard them. Now, I Want You to Want Me, according to setlist.fm, 2,059 times they've played that song. So that's like every concert.
Yeah. Of course, you have to play that one.
They did I Want What I Want, Voices. If It Takes a Lifetime, they've only done 41 times. The Flame, I'm sure they've done a lot. They did In the Street, which is from that 70s show. Surrender. Mm-hmm. And then the encore was 3 songs.
When you and I saw them live in Reading, PA, I really loved Surrender. That really brought me back in time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course, that was not Cheap Trick. Maybe that might have been The Family.
Oh, yeah. The Nielsen Trust.
The Nielsen Trust.
Yeah. Well, you saw Cheap Trick with me at Wind Creek.
Yeah, at Wind Creek yesterday.
So then the other is at the Sands with Peter Frampton. Mm-hmm. Now, that one is...
Now, these 2 concerts are your tie for...
Yeah.
Okay, you're putting these together. Yeah. All right. You can do that since it's the same band. You can't do that if it's different bands.
And it was the Sands at the time. They had only been open 3 years. Mm-hmm. And it was 2015. July 28th. Mm-hmm. And we had front row seats, and my son, who I've mentioned before, I know he listens to music, but it's probably rap music.
Mm-hmm. But you really don't know. He doesn't talk about music.
Yeah.
So wait, have you ever had a conversation about music?
A little bit.
Okay.
He went to see Willie Nile with me.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
He went to see B.B. King with me the one time. So my son was 12. My wife was with me. And they didn't even stay, Cheap Trick opened for Frampton, and they didn't stay to see Frampton.
Wow.
They went shopping or something. I don't know.
Peter.
But it was cool because Robin Zander came out and my son was wearing a Stephen Curry jersey.
Yeah.
And he gave him the thumbs up. And the odd thing is that concert, they didn't allow, you couldn't take photos after the third song. And they've since eased up. I don't know why. But anyone who knows Cheap Trick knows that Rick Nielsen, the guitarist, has like 300, 400 guitars. He doesn't bring them all with him.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll switch out guitars. He might have 10 different guitars.
Yeah.
And a lot of unique ones.
Yeah. And he's a wild man on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jumping around.
Well, maybe years ago.
Yeah. But his antics, he still has plenty of antics.
Yeah.
Pointing at people, smiling, waving.
Because Cheap Trick are kind of a quirky band, I've always liked. Because, you know, there were two, Robin Zander, Tom Peterson were the pretty boys, if we want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rick and Bunny were kind of the odd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bunny was kind of nerdy. So was Rick. So you had, and what's funny is their In Color album, they're on the cover, Robin and Tom are on the cover on motorcycles. And on the back cover, they're in color. And the back in black and white is Bunny and Rick on scooters. So they knew.
Yeah, there's a separation.
Yeah.
There's a big separation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they did the encore Surrender, Robin came over because the encore, then we could stand at the stage. We didn't have to sit in our seats. So we were right at the stage and Robin came over and, you know, Mommy's all right, Daddy's all right. And he held the mic out to my son and my son like doesn't say anything. So he ruined the song for everyone.
Because,
you know, I'm sure one of the guys in the band was like Rick was singing background.
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like completely silent.
Yeah, yeah. But
that was
the kid didn't know it. Yeah.
That was a great show because I hadn't seen them. Like I said, the first time was 2006, and then 2015 is 9 years later, and now every year I try to see them.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a big gap in between.
Yeah.
So that's my one.
Yeah. All right.
I guess we'll say, you know, that's 5. I have them numbered, but like I said, these aren't any.
They're all, for me, they're all the same as well.
Yeah.
They're all my favorite children.
Yeah.
My next concert is for people who like the Violent Femmes, but it's not the Violent Femmes. I did see the Femmes at the Tower Theater with our friend who lives in Spring City, the Schwantz. I went to, but this is a member of the Violent Femmes. So I saw the Mercy Seat on the 22nd of October, 1987 at the Green Parrot. If you're a Jersey Shore person, especially northern Jersey, you'll know the Green Parrot. Neptune, New Jersey. It's probably not far from Asbury Park. But Al and I went down, our friend Al, and saw the Mercy Seat. So a lot of people who know the Violent Femmes thinks this is a side project of Gordon Gano, Violent Femmes lead singer. But indeed, it's just a band that Gordon was happened to be asked to join.
Oh, okay.
And he's on guitar. So he plays electric and acoustic guitars. The gospel punk band, the Mercy Seat, is led by Zena von Heppenstall. And this woman is so tall. I don't know if she was wearing heels that night too, but she's a very elegant African-American woman, and she has got a voice. She's a singer and songwriter. I was reading a little bit about Zena, and she was singing in church with her mom. I think it was in New York City or North Jersey. But so she's kept her gospel roots and her songwriting. These were all originals. They were promoting an album called The Mercy Seat, self-titled album. But Zena talks about going to CBGB's and seeing Blondie.
Okay. Yeah.
And not just the vocals, but what is this woman doing? I mean, imagine Blondie and seeing Deborah Harry at CBGB's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also the Sex Pistols, you know, which typically doesn't fit in with the gospel that she's singing and playing. But that's her influences right there early on.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah, Blondie and the Sex Pistols. Yeah. So So we get there, and you have to picture a small bar, small nightclub at the Green Parrot. And so we're there, and we go up to the bar, and we get a couple of drinks, but the band starts setting up, and there was like 5 of us at the bar, another 5 people back there playing pool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, this is going to be such a great show.
Yeah.
We're close,
Mm-hmm.
like from our bar stools, we just look off on the side a little bit, and they're playing for us. It almost was to the point, and I don't know if any of you have ever been there, where you almost start to feel bad that there's not anybody else there.
Yeah.
Like if you go to your friend's band, right,
Mm-hmm.
and no one's showing up, I almost started to feel that way. Like, this is weird. But then, another dozen or 2 people came in, and it was such an excellent show to have them right in front of us performing just for us, us 24 people.
Wow.
It rocked. It was authentic. Some guy was on drums, another woman on bass.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, Gordon broke a guitar string, and he'd be singing backup to her.
Yeah.
He would sing with her and call and response. And, she was the lead singer. She's the leader of the band, Zena was. But at one point, he breaks a guitar string, and the band continues to jam. And he's speaking a few words while he changes his guitar string. And so I had never seen that before.
Yeah.
Just, there's no techs or roadies around at all. That was the band. But he threw the guitar string, and then I couldn't help myself. I had to get Violent Femmes lead singer Gordon's guitar string. So I still have it to this day.
So you dove for it.
No, I didn't dove. Nobody dove, but I'm like, I am not above this.
Yeah.
I am not so proud that I will not go down on the floor and pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have it to this day.
Yeah.
So that was a highlight. It was just authentic. And after the show, it was great to hang out with them. Of course, do the usual, back and forth when you meet people, but to be able to meet Gordon Gano and the rest of the band and just doing such a great job. It was much like the album that I just got done listening to solidly for the last 3-4 weeks. So clear. And I was actually surprised they weren't just doing a few gigs. This was a 2-year international tour that they went around.
Really?
Yeah, 2 years international, a lot of playing.
Hopefully they made money, because only 24 people show up.
They didn't make much money that night, yeah. So not well known. I thought it was interesting, just looking at the Green Parrot a little bit, who else played there? Lenny Kravitz had played there. But
Well, I read he did his first solo show there. It sounds like it was almost his first show was at the Green Parrot.
What's Lenny Kravitz?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I was really surprised at this. It says November 1989 or 87, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I just pulled that up.
Okay, you did. Yeah,
It said they were paid $500.
Who was? Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were paid $500 for a show at the Green Parrot.
It said Lenny Kravitz made his first solo appearance at the Green Parrot.
Oh, cool. Tell me about the Chili
Someone
Peppers.
said we paid the Red Hot Chili Peppers $500 to perform and paid Lenny Kravitz $100. They were all just up and coming then.
Wow.
This might have been a former owner.
Yeah.
I don't know if the club's still there or not.
Yeah, I don't know either. And I'd never been there before or since. Just picture your average size bar. I don't know. I would say it was a small bar. Yeah, but they had to have a decent size to fit the people in. It's possible they had a larger room, but knew that people weren't going to be showing up. I wonder if it was even a weekday.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been a weekday. Yeah.
So my next one is the Smithereens, who I've seen like in one form or another 40 plus times.
Wow.
And this is the other form in that when they played at my house.
Mm.
And it was Pat Denizio, the late Pat Denizio, and Jim Babjack, guitars for the New Jersey band, the Smithereens, which I know you've heard me talk about many times. And they played at the Lily Pad, which was my house, which I think Pat gave it that name. And I'm not going to give out the address, but it was Fairway Road in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
June 13th, 2009. My son just turned, what was he? 6 years old. And we had a birthday party. Afterthought is that, after the next day, we were exhausted because we should have done it one weekend and then the next. So we had some people come for the birthday party and not stay for the concert.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't charge anything, but there was only about 20 people there.
Mm-hmm.
Matt wasn't there.
Right. I just wrote the date down, my friend Rob, my good friend Rob. And I don't know what I was doing that date, but
Yeah.
I probably would have done anything to be here, to be in your home
Yeah.
with Pat Denizio.
Yeah.
So I'm just guessing that there was some sort of emergency with my kids that I couldn't leave them, all three of them, with my wife.
We could have maybe just saw them or...
No.
Okay.
Oh, no, it wasn't it.
Okay.
No, I couldn't drive 5 hours and leave my wife alone with the kids. Yeah. I do regret it, but I'm still married, so.
Pat got there kind of early because this was I don't know what time. There wasn't a set time for to start.
Doesn't matter anyway. It's Pat, so.
But we probably were aiming around 6:37. I don't know, maybe even earlier. But Pat got there before Jimmy, and he needed to take a nap. So
That just kills me.
Now, this is the thing. I was a fan of the Smithereens and still am.
Mm-hmm.
Both Matt and I,
Mm-hmm.
since '87, when they had Especially for You.
Yeah.
Their first album. And Matt and I tried to see him in '87. We eventually saw him in '88.
Yeah.
And then I reconnected kind of with the band. I think it was in 2006. And it was at one of the Union County Music Fest, which was the first festival they did.
Mm-hmm.
When I met Pat, and he was just so friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing house concerts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had just, by the time he got to did our show, I think he was finishing up driving across America.
Yeah.
And I can say he was charging when he first started $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife and I were like, when we'd see them and we kind of hang out with them before or after,
Mm-hmm.
and we're like, I don't know if we, want to spend $2,000, we spend $35 to go see him at Sellersville Theater,
Mm-hmm.
So Pat lowered his price to $500. So that was more doable, and we thought it would be just a cool thing to have Pat play. I was also friends with Jim knew us and my wife, and I asked him if he would do it, because Jim Babjak wasn't doing the house concerts.
Mm-hmm. But you're in Jersey now, you're not just too far.
Yeah. So Jim agreed to do it with Pat, and Jimmy showed up. They call him Jimmy or Jim.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up later and asked where Pat was, and I said, Pat, and we had a bi-level, so Pat was sleeping in our guest room.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Pat's in there, and I pointed at the door, which was closed. I said, Pat's in there sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, well then, I guess I'll have time to have a cigar. So he went outside with some friends of mine. We had a patio out there, and he sat out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pat, I think it was after the concert, Pat noticed Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, and I have like almost every book, and I had a bookshelf in there, and Pat mentioned that I like Stephen King more than I liked him, and he's a little jealous. And unfortunately, Pat passed away, and I still miss the guy. He was just a great personality. Now I kind of have a set list here, but I also have something special because Pat talked about their album that had just come out where they did Tommy,
Right.
which they redid Tommy, and he talks about how, because I think someone asked him people were asking him when they're putting out a new album, and this was 2009. Eventually, they did put out a studio album, but Pat was going into how we've got to do this album before they'll let us do a studio album to see how well this album does. And they weren't on a big record label anymore. But I actually have audio, which unless you were there, you would have never, heard of this.
Right. I don't believe I've ever heard this before.
So this is Pat talking, because I don't want to play, the music, because it's not the best audio either, because this was also on my Hi 8. So here's Pat talking about Tommy and some other things.
We can always play Behind the Wall of Sleep. We figure since we're visiting the Lilies here in their home that we try to stretch out a little on the lily pad, as it were, and do some stuff that we hardly ever do. Stuff that you know, but we'll do that stuff as well. I'm glad to be back home after 6 months on the road. And of course, we've continued to do shows all the while and put records out. More records, perhaps, than we put out in many a year, probably the past decade. I was gladdened to see Dennis and Jimmy step up to the front with our new Tommy album. Let's hear it for these guys. It's not really what we do, but it is what we do, you know what I mean? And these days people say, what are you going to put another original album out? Well, yeah, but these albums are the kind of things that the record label wants, and if we do the occasional odd album like Tommy for them, they open up the budget doors for us to do the original albums, just so you know personally why we create projects like this. Not necessarily that they are the best thing for all involved, but I think people get some enjoyment out of them. You know? Right, just judging from the Amazon reviews from the kids out there, people seem to like it. When I did my Buddy Holly album, we were over at Vintage Vinyl in Edison or Forks. Anyone been over there? And were you there at that show? There was a writer, this guy named Joel from Billboard. He said, Pat, can I have a minute of your time? I just wanted to react to this statement for an article I'm doing for Billboard. And he said, Foo Fighters' #1 album, Billboard charts. And he mentioned, whatever it was, spring 2009 or whatever, or fall 2008. Foo Fighters' #1 album, total sales, 63,000. Now, it used to be to have a gold album, it was 500,000. Platinum was $1 million, and you had to have at least platinum to be the #1 album, right, Jim?
Hell yeah.
At least that much. So, in any event...
well, do you remember when we did Saturday Night Live? That weekend we sold 100,000 albums just after that show.
Yeah. So it's a different world out there, so... the label gives you a choice, and it's like, well, give us Tommy and we'll give you an original album. What do you do? Enough said. With that, we're going to do the entire Tommy album now. No, we're not.
So that was Pat from My House, 2009. Pat liked to talk, between songs, which was great.
Yeah.
He had a lot of stories.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my number 4.
Yeah, and you befriended Pat between the time that he was at your house here until the time of his death. You grew to be able to call him a friend.
Yeah.
So that was, I know it was early on, not later, early on in your friendship with him that he came here. Yeah.
Oh, so I do have sort of a set list now. This is from, I did make 2 DVDs. There are a couple videos on YouTube. So I'm not sure if there were, when I made these DVDs, if I assume I transferred everything from the video I took. So they started out with I Believe, and then Long Way Back Home, Long Way Back Again, which is kind of an obscure song from Date with the Smithereens. And then we had Pat talking, and then She's Got Away from God Save the Smithereens. I'll Be On My Way, which is kind of an obscure Beatles song. It was written by Billy J. Kramer. And the thing is, in our last interview with Dave Swift, which you'll have heard before this, we talk about Chiller Theater, and the Smithereens were there one year. And Billy J. Kramer was sitting next to them.
Wow.
I didn't know who he was. Pat was trying to get me to buy something from him.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to him. obviously he was a songwriter and he wrote this song for the Beatles.
Yeah.
Or that the Beatles recorded.
Yeah.
So I guess he was from the 50s, 60s maybe. I don't know. And then Don't Bother Me, which I love, which the Smithereens did record on their Meet the Smithereens album. And Jimmy sings that, Don't Bother Me. It was the first song to be written by George Harrison to appear on a Beatles album. Norwegian Wood, so they did a lot of Beatles.
Yeah.
I'm a Loser, Well, All Right, Buddy Holly. And then, now these weren't on my DVD, but they are on YouTube, A Girl Like You. And if you look up, Pat Denizio, I don't know if you look up Lily Pad, I don't know if that's in there. Look up Pat Denizio Carter Bean, because that's what we would call my son.
Yeah.
And A Girl Like You, Pat gets my son, who, like I said, is 6 years old, to come up and sing. And my son was just standing there. And not just standing there. Yeah. And Pat was singing, like I was singing to him.
Not singing with him.
Yeah.
Singing to him. Yeah.
So that's on YouTube. They did It Doesn't Matter Anymore, Buddy Holly, Behind the Wall of Sleep, and Did I say Only a Memory? I think I said that before. Yeah. So those were so they did a good combination of songs at my house. And that was one of the most, and if I had to put a concert other than in a venue, I mean, that's like, who has concerts at their house?
And since I missed it, was it in the basement? Was it outdoors or where was it?
Yeah, it was downstairs.
Okay.
We debated whether we'd have it outside, but even though it was Pat and Jimmy, they do get kind of loud.
Yeah.
And my friend Scott Erickson.
Yeah, they do.
Scott Erickson brought these huge speakers, and he had them on stands, and I think they touched the ceiling down there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm sure it was loud. So I forgot about that show since I wasn't there, and I should have guessed that would be on your list.
Yeah.
I did not remember that.
Yeah. And I'm glad I have video, of it. It's not the best video, because like I said, it was on high 8, but I did transfer it to DVD.
All right, so for my next one, it's yet another person who you have turned me on to. We try our best to share our music, and you've always done that for me. I appreciate that. This man played at one of many performers who played with Dave Matthews' Caravan Tour.
Okay.
All right. Can you guess who I'm going to talk about?
He's opened for them?
He's played with them. I think the Caravan Tour had a whole bunch of people.
Oh, Jeff Coffin.
Yeah, Jeff Coffin. Yeah. So you turned me on to Jeff Coffin. I loved his stuff. And then I found out through you, or I just looked him up and said, he's going to be in my town. He's coming to my actual town. I was going to say hometown, but it's where I was living at the time. So this is in around the year 2011. I don't have a date for it. Can't find this concert. It's at the Main Street Bar and Grill in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And so, no, it's not on people's lists and stuff. I didn't call or text Jeff to find out exactly when it is. Jeff is a saxophone player. He's a master at saxophone. He has workshops. He travels the world and uses a lot of his money to get kids in education of musical instruments and such. So he's doing great work with that. So this night was an excellent night. I went alone. I went with no one else that I knew. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't go. Or I would have gone. Well, it's a similar reason I wasn't at your house, right?
Oh, no, wait a minute. You were in Virginia, right?
Yeah, it's Virginia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably what.
Yeah, Main Street Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
So there's 3 bands. It was a great price, like $12 or something. 3 bands. I get there and I got something to drink, then I got something to eat, and then I got something else to drink. And so forth. Yeah. So as a drummer, I like helping out other drummers because that's what we do. So the first band that comes on, I'm helping the guys set up, bring stuff in, or tear down. I can't remember. But good rock and roll band, kind of indie rock kind of thing going on. The next band was, I looked for the CD because I bought it. Okay, get this. It's a guy from the Caribbean. He's a lead singer. He's got his band with drums and bass, and he is playing steel pans. He's playing steel pan drums is his instrument to lead with. That was interesting. It's one of those things where a couple songs is great, but you can get too many steel pans going on for 45 minutes.
So what were the first band and this band instrumental only?
Oh, great question. Question. I don't remember the first band. I can't remember if they had some.
But the steel drum guy must have been instrumental.
Yes,
he can't really sing.
He could have played and sang. I'm not sure, but people who were there that night are there for Jeff Coffin.
Yeah,
instrumental music, and yet very very unique. Great questions, but I can't quite remember.
Yeah,
the bar, small bar, very similar to the size of of the one in Neptune. But it starts to get packed. I mean, there is all the seats are taken, all the standing room is taken. There's people outside, having a smoke and trying to think, can I get in? Yeah, the place is packed. I've already in good with the bartender, and I'm standing up front.
Yeah.
When I say up front, I mean it's basically just picture, it's your living room,
Yeah.
And there's a stage, 3 feet tall. I met one guy there who's a friend of a friend, Trevor. Yeah. So Trevor and I was like, hey, what's up? We knew each other's face. And so it was cool hanging out with him for a little bit because I got to know that he's a jazz fan. And we talked about New Orleans, and he was telling me about New Orleans, and he was down there. He wants to go again and just party and just listen to great music. So I remember Trevor telling me about that. But so that was good to have that one connection. It's a special day for Jeff Coffin. It's his birthday. This day is his birthday, like actually on his birthday. About halfway through the show, they made him a cake and they bring it out. And again, I'm kind of in, I'm alongside, I'm in front of the band, but off on the side a little bit, helping people with stuff. And I think maybe I helped clear the way. So I just put my hands up and cleared the way for this cake to get through.
Yeah.
So he's playing up there, and they bring out this cake. Of course, the lighting is just awesome. It's low lighting. It's really a special atmosphere, and the candles are burning. And he's playing. And he can't smile too much, right? Because he's trying to play saxophone.
Yeah.
But he's happy. And we all sang happy birthday to him, which is, 300, 400, 500 drunk people singing happy birthday. It was really great. And I was right up front for that. That was special.
Did you get to eat the cake, or was it for the band?
Do you know? I don't remember, but I think I had so much in me that I probably couldn't have fit any cake. But there's a real electric feel. Everybody being crammed in there and being so close. You've been in those situations before, and
good and bad.
Yeah, that's true. Like when we met the Black James Taylor, that was there's a vibe that's really good and positive, and like that show, it was very special.
When I saw 9 Inch Nails at this place called the Pipeline, I think it was in Newark, when they came out with Pretty Hate Machine, and this tiny club, and it was packed, and they had to turn the air conditioning off because the band needed power. And it was like freaking 100 degrees in there. And jam packed. This is right when the album came out, or was about to come out. And I don't know how, we were kind of in the know, or my friend Steve was there with me, so they knew, I didn't know who this band was because, like I said, I don't even know if the album came out yet. And then they took off, in bigger places.
Right.
But that just being cramped in there was not
a good scene.
But I did want to see them, and
right, your friends knew that they were good and they were onto something good. Yeah, I told you about the great vibe, the great feel. I think there was strangers, sitting on strangers' laps. I mean, it was insane. It was just because
there were people petting puppies,
furries all over.
Yeah.
So, but one thing that I remember is he had, I think there's 2 or 3 different types of saxophones, and I'm not educated in that, but he had 2 different types of saxophones, and he played them at the same time. Okay, picture in your mouth 2 instruments, and I
think I've seen him do that.
Yeah. I think you with Dave Matthews, he might have done it that once. But for our listeners, just try to picture putting two wind instruments in your mouth. You have to blow them differently, unless he blows them all the same. But you're playing different notes. You're playing two different instruments at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's freaking awesome. It was just freaking awesome.
I've never seen anybody do that.
The other thing is, I was really impressed. He had a bass player, drummer, and guitarist with him. Remember the guitarist's name was Bill. I have no idea why I remember that, but so freaking good. So good. It was not just you listening to saxophone. I mean, the full band, and even when the saxophone wasn't playing, it was really great. It was a great show. I didn't want to leave. It was a Wednesday, I think, which would be another reason why you're not showing up.
Yeah, middle of the week.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday. And by the end of the show, it's 1 a.m. on a Wednesday. I got to work the next day. I wanted so badly to hang out with the guys for another hour or two. Yeah. And I couldn't because, I got to go home. So a great show.
And you didn't meet Jeff? Or?
No. Okay. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to meet him because I had to get home. Yeah. Yeah, I had to work the next day. I couldn't stay another hour or two. So great show all around.
So we're going from, tiny little show to one of the biggest shows probably of 1992. And it's U2, the Zoo TV tour.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And this was March 18th, 1992 at the Spectrum in Philadelphia.
Spectrum, yeah. Yes, I was there for a show or two. Yeah.
And this tour lasted until 93. Matt and I both love U2. I've seen him 8 times, maybe. I've seen him almost on every tour since Joshua Tree. Matt's seen him, saw him at Radio City. Yeah. And this was just nothing I had seen before. It was, and I think the hate for Bono stems from maybe this tour. Because he had a couple different characters.
Right.
And I think he was kind of spoofing the rock star image.
Yeah. And then also, I remember, I have to say, Mephisto.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get into that.
Yeah, okay. I'm jumping ahead. Go ahead.
But there were giant TV screens, cars suspended from the ceiling. And these cars were, I did look them up, they're called Trabant cars. They're East German automobiles. He had a giant remote control. I remember Bono would call the White House to see if he can.
Yeah.
I don't know if was Bill Clinton. I don't remember who was president.
Yeah, George Bush or one of the. Is he probably one of the Bushes? But
he had a handheld camera. It was just a little bit of everything. The whole rock and roll experience.
I think Bill Clinton was elected that fall later. Yeah, 92, yeah.
So the tour's concept was inspired by the disparate television programming, coverage of the Gulf War, and the desensitizing effect of mass media, and morning zoo radio shows. That's what I have here.
Zooropa.
Yeah. And then Bono he had several characters. And I do have, you can't see this, but Matt, I have visual of what
they look good like, cards, so, yes. 8x8 flashcards with photos.
So we had The Fly.
Yes, The Fly. At a glance, it looked like Michael Jackson, the white Michael Jackson with the sunglasses there.
So I think that character was, that created people being turned off by U2, by Bono. He's leather-clad egomaniac.
Yeah. Over the top. He's going over the top. He's taking it big. He's taking it over the top.
Yeah. He wore sunglasses, black leather, and it was a parody of an egomaniacal rock star. And behind Bono, huge monitors flashed random words like sex, panic, death. And Bono attended some press conferences, and this is probably where the confusion lied, in the character of The Fly, complete with the shades.
Okay.
So people who, I don't know, they probably saw this and thought that, that's Bono now. What happened to Bono? And didn't realize it was a character.
Right.
and still don't realize it was Gary.
And still don't know.
Because he also appeared on the cover of Rolling Stone as The Fly, March 4th, 1993. And then we had the Mirrorball Man, and he was a greedy televangelist.
Yes, yes.
He preached the gospel of greed as a Texan televangelist. Strut on stage wearing aviators, a shiny silver cowboy hat and suit.
Right. Just for our listeners, this is like a suit and cowboy hat that are all wrapped in aluminum foil, just shiny. Yeah.
He had a full body mirror to fawn over himself, making out with his reflection, and that's when he would prank call the White House.
Yeah, it would be the second George Bush.
Then we had McFisto.
McFisto. Oh, the evil McFisto.
And he made his debut May 7th, 1993.
Yes.
Where a small group of fans were invited into the dress rehearsal for the summer leg of the Zoo TV tour. Yeah, McFisto, I know I saw McFisto, but probably not this show, I'm going to say, because this tells me it's 1993. Well, it said it made his full debut.
Okay.
As the tour kicked off. Bono donned horns.
2 earrings. A red tie.
One of the more memorable appearances of McFisto was in London. He called Salman Rushdie on the phone.
Wow.
And Rushdie was actually in the stadium, and he would eventually come out on stage, and he gave him a big hug. And he apparently had been in hiding.
Wow. Yeah, I remember once, Salman Rushdie wrote the book, The Satanic Verses, and people were out to kill him for religious reasons.
Yeah. So this is, like I said, most memorable. It was like over the top. For me, who love U2 and I still do, I just thought it was brilliant. There was, some people want to go to a show and you just want to hear the music, but they were like going to the circus and there's music.
It's like going to the circus.
I don't know. And I think I saw them twice on that tour.
Wow. Yeah.
Because this is after Achtung Baby. This was 4 months after Achtung Baby came out. And I always think there was an Achtung Baby tour, but this is the tour, the Zoo TV tour.
Oh.
Was the Achtung.
Okay, yeah, not to be confused with Zooropa.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Zoo TV tour.
Yeah. So
was the Achtung
if
Baby
I saw him
album.
in March, I know Joshua Tree, I saw him on the first and second leg. And if you don't know what first and second leg, it's in the beginning of the year. Then they usually go over to Europe or the UK, and then they'll come back to the US for the second leg. So,
yeah, I was not there. Yet another. I was on the other side of the world, and I missed both of those times, both of those concerts. Yeah. So for my next one, my second to last one, I believe it's going to be one that surprises you.
Okay.
And you wouldn't be able to guess it. It's not a band that you listen to. And the concert was amazing and outrageous and theatrical.
Does your daughter listen?
Yes, you got it. So this next one is from Halloween night in 2018. It's 21 Pilots.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, so 21 Pilots. I've turned my daughter onto some music that she likes, and she's turned me on to 21 Pilots. Halloween night, okay? We dress up. My daughter doesn't drive, so she has to go with me to work in Newmarket because we're heading to D.C. that night. So she sleeps in my car, and she walks around town. After work, we both dress up as the Pumpkin Man.
The Pumpkin Man.
Great Pumpkin. I just forgot his
Charlie Brown?
No. When I texted our friend Keith, he sent me a picture of himself dressed the same.
Jack Skellington?
Yes. Skellington?
Yeah.
Wait, from Saturday Night Live.
No.
No.
That's
Who's the character? Who's the pumpkin?
David S. Pumpkins.
We were David freaking S. Pumpkins.
Okay,
Yeah. So thank you for helping me out, because I didn't remember. We had the little name tag. We each had a name tag. So we dressed alike, and we had the name tag on as well. So we're going, we drive halfway to DC. We go to the Vienna Metro. So we take the Metro in on Halloween night dressed. So there's a lot of excitement in the air to start with. But the show started out with AWOL Nation, just this really hard rock band. They're okay. Yeah. And next was Max Frost. I saw him on Good Morning America right before or after that. Singer-songwriter doing the recorded loops of himself as he's playing. And a couple good songs, by Max Frost. That was pretty cool. But it's the Capital One Arena, where the basketball team for DC plays, and a lot of other things are going on there. So you have to recognize, too, coming up, I did know the name of the street there, but just walking from the Metro station to Capital One is really wild at night on Halloween night, and wild coming out as well. Yeah. So there's a real buzz in the air. My daughter was thrilled. I mean, she's thrilled just being there. The excitement building up to 21 Pilots coming on. 21 Pilots is singer-songwriter Tyler Joseph and his friend, drummer Josh Dunn. Never a full band. Kind of mysterious with that. Like, where are those bass lines coming from? So there's always this, as a musician, and you would wonder, too, if you were there, where's those sounds coming from? I don't think they're playing to a backtrack. I think someone is playing along with them, helping out. They're just not seen on stage. Yeah. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre. Unless they do something really well with a backtrack to get these other sounds and these bass. Because no one's playing bass. I'm like, no.
So there's two guys on stage.
Two guys. It's Tyler and Josh.
Maybe they're behind the curtain.
I don't know. But it was wild. But the excitement, they start off with Jumpsuit, and if you're a 21 Pilots fan, you know that was the album that they were touring for, the first song on the album, Jumpsuit. It is rocking, it is pounding, and Tyler sings the first verse, and then goes away, vanishes, and he's not to be seen, but he's up in the stands, halfway back, all the way at the top, across from where we're at, and the spotlight's on him, and he's singing there. That means he was singing from there the whole time, or back, or in a hidden alley back there. Someone else, because they had masks on, it was Halloween, they put wraps and masks on and stuff, both of them, the drummer and the guy, pretending to be Tyler Joseph. That wasn't him. It was a guy, it was someone else, probably his brother, mouthing the words, and we thought it was them because he's making the movements and has a guitar in his hand. No, Tyler was up there in the stands singing the first verse the whole time. Cool. We got burned. Yeah. Burned you. That's not me on stage. You're screaming and yelling, thinking you see Tyler Joseph. No, it's not. It's somebody else that we'll never know who it was. But the stage had a burning car on it, and the drum set was on mechanics that lifted it up high, real high, and back down. There is a small stage in the center. We were in the stands up on the to the left of the stage. There was another stage that would go down into and be hidden, and would come up with a mic and a piano, and all the way down to the back to appease the fans in the back was a giant lift that went from ground level almost all the way up towards the ceiling. And so at one point he's up there in the back singing to the people who are have the ultimate worst seats. He's just right in front of their faces singing. And then there's a catwalk that went from the mid stage I was talking about to the front stage. So he's running back and forth and hanging from that catwalk and shit. So this is the theatrics that makes me have this on this list. I mean, and one more thing. Okay. At one point, they bring out this small drum set attached to probably a 6x6 piece of plywood with handles screwed on the bottom. And he jumps on it and he's playing drums, mic'd with wireless mics, while he is surfing on the crowd.
Uh-huh.
The crowd is holding him up, and you can do it. You can hold, 350 pounds if there's a bunch of you, and all with handles, and I can see these little handles. And he's just rocking out, and they're trying to keep him level, but he's swaying a little bit here and there, and he's freaking rocking. It was awesome. It was awesome. Wow. And while he's playing, if he's on top of you, you can't witness it, but at least you get to, you're like, I'm holding up Josh Dunn as he's playing. Josh is a great drummer, a very powerful drummer, not a light drummer like I am. Very powerful. That was a wow moment. I couldn't believe that. Of course, you have lots of lights, lots of beams, smoke. I encourage anyone who's interested to check out 21 Pilots from Halloween Night 2018, because some of the video is even impressive. I was watching it again, reliving a little bit of it, thinking, oh, I don't remember when those lasers shot up from the stage, and these two guys came out of nowhere and were grabbing them and shining them all over through the smoke, and it was like, what are they going to do next? So it was really impressive. I'm so glad my daughter was able to turn me on to that I was able to take her to her one and only 21 Pilots concert. Some of the songs that they played from my favorite were Lane Boy, Ride, My Blood, and then Car Radio, which is a slow song, a very slow, meaningful song. It was really wild. But another reason, one more reason this was a memorable concert is we leave there and we think, okay, we're out on the street again, and it's 11:30. What time's the metro stop? We can't go out for something to eat, some noodles or something to drink, because the metro stops at midnight. All right, we won't play around here. We'll just go. Well, guess what? We weren't thinking, we weren't watching, and we missed our exchange, our transfer to get back, to head east to Vienna. And it kept going south, down around the Reagan National Airport and I want to say CIA. No, that's not it. The big complex down there, the Pentagon. So we get down there, and guess what? That's when it stops. It stopped at 11:45. They're not going back north again. We're stuck in the middle of the night. It's 12:30. The streets are vacant. This is not a residential place. This is the Pentagon, and there is nothing. So we're like, okay. So I'm trying to stay cool so my daughter doesn't get anxious. Yeah. We're tired. We're psyched. We're hungry. We're thirsty. We're far from our hotel and car, it's far. So we go out, and we got a bus, paid a few bucks for a bus to get to this other stop, and there was one taxi. It's desolate streets. It's desolate. There was nobody around. There's no cars driving anywhere. It's desolate. And there's one taxi. It's like, let's go. And so I walk up to it, and the guy doesn't speak English as his first language. He mumbles something. I don't feel good about it. We get in the back of the taxi. I say where we're going, which is the Vienna metro station. He's like, what? Because it's so far away. And it's miles away. It's 10 miles away. And it's an hour away. And because we went south instead of east. And so he mumbles something. He doesn't communicate well with us. We take off. We're in the back of this taxi, and we both feel fear. And we're driving fast around this exit, and it's even a darker area. And I'm thinking, and I squeezed my daughter's hand, just looked at her and gave her a nod. I'm like, and she knew what I meant. Like, if we have to fight for it, we're gonna freaking fight for it. We both thought he was gonna take us to an alley and kill us. He's a taxi driver, but that's happened before. But he didn't. We went back to
most of them do drive erratically, though.
Yeah, but you got to
I've been in taxis.
But you got to picture the scene from a movie where the last person has gone away. There is just concrete and street lights and tall buildings, and it's just you in this one car. There was no other cars around. And then I thought we were just going to go to a parking lot behind some buildings. But we made it. We thought we were going to have to, I don't know, fight with our bare hands. And do we have to kill a man tonight? Really? But I paid the God knows what plus a $10 tip. It didn't matter, but I paid him I don't know, $50 taxi ride and $10 tip, and we got back to the car, and from the car we still had to drive to Manassas. Where we saw Dave Matthews. It could have been the same hotel there at Manassas. We drove back, and
You got back at 3:00.
Yeah, we slept well. We didn't sleep long. Got back at 3. So it was intense, but we made it through.
Mm-hmm.
But to go from such elation, such elation, to being tired for just a little bit on the train, to being like we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, to desperation.
It was desperate. It was. I can't explain how desperate it was, because we could get robbed at any time.
Mm-hmm.
No one knew where we were.
Yeah.
All my wife knows is that we're like in DC.
Yeah.
So that was intense, and it was memorable. And I don't suggest the other bands, but 21 Pilots is something to check out.
Yeah, I have to listen to them a little more.
Check out the videos just to get the experience of what I saw that night. Yeah, and that's Halloween night 2018.
So my number 2 is Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, wow.
And the only time I saw Bruce, Matt and I are big fans of Bruce too. Yeah. And
love him.
And I think we didn't see him on this last tour because of the ticket prices.
Yeah. I wanted to. We saw the movie from 2 and 3 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't want to spend that much money.
Mm-hmm.
So this was at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. It was. Now I'm not sure what night this was because he played 6 shows in a row.
Wow.
But it was around. It was between September 14th to the 19th, 1984. Now I can't remember if I probably was married to my first wife, because she was with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I get tickets. Did I sleep out? I don't remember.
Who were you? Who'd you go to the concert with? Did you?
My ex-wife.
Oh, okay. You said you were with your. I didn't know if you. Yeah. Do you know what? I think I might have been visiting my sister in Dallas, the one and only time in Dallas. I went right before I went to tech school for a week to visit her, or 2. I can't remember. Right in that time somewhere. Yeah.
The album probably came out. I love this. Like, I still like this album. I mean, there's other albums I like better than this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of don't want to hear Born in the USA.
No.
It's not one of the stronger songs. But I do remember sort of that this was just an incredible show, because Bruce at the time was in like top form. I read that he was lifting weights and going to the gym to get in shape. Clarence Clemens was in shape. They were, it was 1984. So that was almost, 40 years ago? Bruce would have been in his 30s, something like that. Late 20s, 30s. The one thing I do remember is there were folding chairs. And we had floor seats.
Yeah.
We weren't like way up. But we were way back. But people were standing on the folding chairs.
Wow.
And I just remember standing on thinking the chair's going to collapse. I wasn't real comfortable, but if you wanted to see, you had to stand on a chair.
Yeah.
And I don't know at that time if they had huge monitors. They might have.
Probably not. I think they didn't at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to see the live people on stage. I really think they didn't yet.
Yeah. Now, I was thinking this show was most likely a Saturday, which would have been September 15th. And I actually, if you go on YouTube, of course, there's a video. I'm not sure what night it's from. And someone filmed not only Bruce, but the people in the audience, like going down the aisles. And of course, I looked for myself.
Yeah.
But it's a great time capsule of 1984. And I urge anyone who wants to see what 1984 looked like as far as hairstyles and clothing, you're going to get a good idea.
Oh, so this wasn't like in the dark and
no, no, it was well lit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
So if you search Bruce Springsteen Spectrum 1984, you'll see the video come up. He is performing a song, and it's called Detroit Medley. I don't know if he gave it that name, but I guess a lot of songs from like Devil in a Blue Dress, a lot of that Detroit sound, but a medley. But you can see the energy of the band. And what's amazing is the energy of the band and the energy of the crowd. People dancing in the aisles.
Yeah.
And just having a great time.
Do you know, I just want to interrupt right there. It's just, that makes such a difference. Picture the energy I talked about with Jeff Coffin in a smaller venue, and then in a mid-sized venue, the energy there, compared to being at a concert, and you and I have been at them as well, where people are just, they're like you put a bunch of mannequins, like,
Yeah.
there's no movement, and you're not really sure if they're really into it. It makes a difference, you know?
It's funny because one part of the video, there's like one guy sitting. You see him sitting and looking kind of bored, and like everybody, I think in the whole stadium is on their feet.
Yeah.
You know. Now the stadium was torn down. Let's see, May 2011.
Huh.
And the last concert there was Pearl Jam on October 31st, 2009. Now this tour was the longest, most successful tour to date, I guess, for Bruce. And it says it featured a physically transformed Springsteen after 2 years of bodybuilding. 2 years.
Yeah.
The singer had bulked up considerably. The tour was the first since it says 1974 portions of the Born to Run tours without guitarist Steven Van Zandt.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to go solo after he recorded the album with them. And Niles Lofgren replaced him on this tour. And it was the first tour to feature his wife, Patti Scalfa.
This tour was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The tour grossed 80 to 90 million overall, which is, I guess, a lot back then.
Mm-hmm. You have to multiply by 3 or 4 to get today's numbers there. About 3 anyway.
And the other thing about, and I did have a program from this tour, but I don't know what happened to it.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer have it.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to see Bruce again, you know, and he's getting up there in age.
Mm-hmm.
And he did have, towards the end of this last tour, he had health problems or something and had to cancel shows.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're never going to see something like this from Bruce with that energy. And of course, Clarence Clemens is no longer around. Now, the other thing is the first date of this tour was June 29th, 1984. And that's when Courtney Cox danced on stage with Bruce. And they filmed the video for Dancing in the Dark.
Huh.
She was 20 years old.
20.
And she was not yet, she might have been in a couple things, like, but not, she wasn't well known at all.
Mm-hmm.
She was 20, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Courtney Cox from Friends dancing with Bruce. It says she was chosen from a casting call by director Brian De Palma to appear in the video. And it was at the St. Paul Civic Center. Yeah, it was the first, show of the tour.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did find the set list. We got Born in the USA, Out in the Street, Spirit in the Night, Atlantic City, State Trooper. He did a lot of songs from Nebraska, which I think was the album before that. Reason to Believe, I'm Going Down, Darlington County, Glory Days, The Promised Land, The River, Trapped, which is a Jimmy Cliff cover, Badlands, Thunder Road. That's set 1.
Wow.
Hungry Heart, Dancing in the Dark, Cadillac Ranch, Candy's Room, which he premiered on this tour.
Really?
I'm on Fire, Cover Me, Pink Cadillac, Bobby Jean, Jersey Girl, Rosalita. The Encore. Now, have you ever heard of someone doing, let's see,
5 songs on an encore?
6 songs on an encore? I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide, ZZ Top cover, Jungle Land, Born to Run, the Detroit medley, Twist and Shout, and Do You Love Me?
Do You Love Me, really?
So some cover songs in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
I would like to look for a DVD. I'm sure there might be something out there from this tour.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even from that show. Like I said, I don't know the exact date. I don't have my ticket stub anymore.
What's the name of the album he was promoting? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Born in the USA.
Oh, okay.
Not Born to Run.
So yeah, we've got 1 more each to do for this podcast here. I'm noticing a theme. I don't know if it's... You notice a theme as we've done our 10 different concerts?
Well, mine are really old concerts.
Mine are all old too, except for
Yeah.
except for 21 Pilots.
They're all rock and roll.
No, it's not really a theme within them. It's something that's missing. I have not been at any of yours, and you have not been at any of mine.
Yeah. Which is
we
remarkable.
have been friends for half a century, almost. We've known each other for half a century, a couple years more than, and we just talk music constantly, and we go to shows constantly.
Yeah.
And our top 10, I don't know what yours is, last one, and my last, and you don't know what my last one is, but we have not been at each other's.
We have not been at a memorable concert together.
Wow. But we do have some honorable mentions, like that Amos Lee months ago, you know? But anyway, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The last one I have for today. I think that you can guess mine, and I can't guess yours. That's what I think.
The only thing I can think of is like Dave Matthews.
Okay, so that's not it. All right, we're going back to December 3rd, 1984, Radio City Music Hall.
Oh, okay.
My first U2 concert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Waterboys opened up for U2. I believe I slept out for tickets or got really early for tickets. I went with our late friend, Jim Cozy. Not sure why. You were busy somehow doing something. I was a little bit out of touch with Keith. Some people were out at college, and a couple other friends weren't around. I got the tickets, and Jim Cozy got the Greyhound bus tickets. We took a Greyhound bus into New York City. I mean, who does that, right?
Do you have the date on that concert?
Yeah, December 3rd, 1984. Now, I had tried to get U2 tickets for the Tower Theater in Philly. I wanted to be closer, so I wanted to get the Tower Theater in Philly. Those tickets, we talked about sleeping out for tickets, getting there the next morning. Those tickets sold out in 20 minutes. 20 minutes, the Tower Theater sold out completely. I get up there and they go, no more tickets. They're done. I'm like, what do you mean you're done? We've been selling for 20 minutes. Yeah. They were done. So I couldn't get the Tower Theater. Didn't make it to that show. But I did get to this theater. I skipped school. That's what I had in my notes here. I skipped school to get those tickets. Jim liked U2, but I was so into U2 at this point. This was the album, The Unforgettable Fire. So they had behind them Boy and then October.
I think you turned me on the U2.
And it would have been about this time.
I remember going over your house and listening to that album.
Oh, wait, the War album as well was behind us. Yeah. We didn't see U2 in the War album tour. So I was so into U2 at this point. I knew the 3 albums before. I knew this album. I knew the B-sides. I'd already purchased some Black Market. I can't think of the name. Black Market albums.
Bootleg.
Yes, bootleg albums. So, U2 at this point was feeding my emotional state. Yeah. I was living in Allentown. I was alone. I was just studying. It was me and the studies. An extension of high school. It was very depressing. Yeah. The Unforgettable Fire really brought me around. We were pretty close to stage on the left side, and it was insane. It was so wonderful. There was a part where the Edge could walk over a little bit and Bono could come over, just probably like a 4 or 5, 6 foot walkway, like where he could come over. At one point, fans got wild and rushed the stage. And people fighting and pushing with security. And this is in the Radio City Music Hall. Okay, this isn't a theater. The feel is different. You're supposed to be nice in a red velvet chair theater.
Oh, yeah.
And we're standing on top of the chairs. It was really intense. Again, at the Unforgettable Fire, Bono was probably at his most serious mode. Okay, he wasn't able to get creative and satirical, with Mephisto and such. Yeah. He was just completely bearing his soul and being serious.
But they were still, building up momentum.
Oh.
As a band.
Yeah.
And again, them being so young, the energy.
Yeah. Yeah. So much.
The intensity.
Yeah. Bono was realizing they all were realizing they couldn't be in theaters anymore. This is one of the last time they ever played in a theater.
Yeah.
They went, in fact, this might have been the next tour or the second part of this tour, they went to arenas. But I knew that it was one of the last times that they were able to
I'm wondering when the album came out. Obviously before this tour.
The Unforgettable Fire would have come out probably the summer of 84. Yeah. It would have probably come out summer of 84.
It came out October 1st, 84.
Wow.
And when was this concert?
December
3rd. It's only 2 months out.
Yeah. So Matt has given this album a lot of listens to in that time. Yeah. A lot of great songs. I had the set list, but it started with 11 o'clock TikTok and ended with 40. I think it was at this point where they started ending all their concerts with the song 40. Remember, I was only 18.
Yeah.
Me and Jim were only two 18-year-olds, younger than our kids are now. So Bono was very serious, and this is where I learned, along with the T-shirts, I don't know that they sold anything else. There was stands for Amnesty International, and I found out what Amnesty International was doing to help people who were fighting their government and being oppressed for it. I learned out what apartheid was. He was fighting apartheid. Now, Nelson Mandela was still in jail. I didn't realize that Nelson Mandela was in jail for 27 years. Wow. Okay. He wasn't released until 1990. And so this is still 6 years.
Do you know about the Mandela effect?
Yes, I've heard that.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because most people are positive he died in jail.
Yeah.
He was in there so long. Yeah. And he didn't.
No.
That's why they call it the Mandela effect.
So I didn't know he was in jail that long. I didn't know it was 6 more years till he was released. But Free Mandela was starting then.
Yeah.
Bono, like nobody else, I think, at the time, was able to use his voice, which was just starting to raise, because people barely knew war and New Year's Day and such, to use his voice as a social conscience and getting it out there. Like, what does it mean, as an 18-year-old? What does it mean as an 18-year-old to care about someone who's jailed in South Africa?
Yeah.
And then I realized why. It's like, oh my God, really? You can't even just say that it's okay that black and white live together? I say live together, live in harmony together, be, in the community together,
Yeah, jailed for words.
Yeah. So it was amazing. The songs were so touching. Like when it was something from Boy or October or War, it didn't strike me like the songs did when he's singing MLK or he's singing The Unforgettable Fire. It touched me, I was crying, I'm there crying as an 18-year-old in New York City, who is this boy? It was amazing. And I was very touched. Don't remember the bus ride home. I don't remember. There's a lot of things I don't remember, but I do remember clearly how good it was being with all those strangers, standing up on the armrests of the red velvet chairs, and the feel that we were all one. There was solidarity. There was real solidarity in that.
Would that have been one of your first concerts? 84?
Well, yeah, I would have only been going to concerts for a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, not one of my first, but
yeah,
year and a half after my first major national concert. But yeah, and it's funny, just reflecting on it about how you and I and other friends would go to New York City. It was very dangerous then, but we would go to New York City. It's like, let's just go and let's walk around New York City as 17, 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. So yes, if you had thought about it, you would have come up with that as one of my top concerts. And I cannot guess your last one.
You can't? It's my first concert.
Rush.
Right.
Oh, I wish I had tried harder.
Now, I always thought I was older, not much older, but I actually figured out how old I was, and I was 14.
Yes, because we went to different high schools.
Yeah.
The first semester of high school.
Yeah, I started going to a technical school thinking I don't even remember what I was going to go there for.
The other choices were public school or Catholic school.
Yeah. And all my friends from grade school were going mostly to the high school, not the Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
And after the first semester, they let me transfer to Phillipsburg High School.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, when I was at the tech school, it was just, I mean, I'm surprised that there wasn't like just pot smoke, where you couldn't see in the school.
You learned a lot at tech school.
Yeah, I think the kids were smoking pot, the teachers were smoking pot, the teachers were probably selling pot.
Right. And listeners, you got to understand, if you're under 30 right now, this is drugs. This is not the pot that everybody can eat and smoke nowadays. Okay, this is
well, actually,
so different.
Yeah, but actually I think it was probably, like my wife said, I think it's probably milder. It was milder.
Yeah, but I'm talking,
there's different levels now.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the actual drug. I was talking about the social and legal repercussions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And you're 14. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm 14. I don't remember even the person I went with, because I had just become friends with him. We're talking, this is what's weird. It was September 30th. I would have just started school.
Wow.
We must have hit it off, and he asked me if I wanted to go to see Rush. And I knew who Rush was, even at 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure, I remember there were other people with us and older kids. So it must have been...
Well, Hector's nobody younger, Rob.
No. Well, someone who had to drive.
Yeah. Older.
But my parents let me go somehow with someone I hardly knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was his brother, I'm going to say, that drove us. And it was outside Allentown Fairgrounds every year. They still have concerts there. They have a fair. And they have, the stage. There's a huge area where there's no seats. And then they have like bleacher seats.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with all these people that I really don't know. They start passing around a joint. Could have been right before Rush came on.
Mm-hmm.
During, who knows? Because also nobody did a lot of things back then as far as, arresting people.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on where it was, but especially concerts.
Now, you and I had played around with smoking already a little bit.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. But I never inhaled. Just like Bill Clinton, I never inhaled. I'm serious.
Yeah. So this was the Moving Pictures tour.
Yeah, the Black Album with the people moving a picture on the front.
Now, I found an original ad for this concert, which is remarkable because it was in the Aquarian Weekly.
Yeah.
Which was based in New Jersey somewhere.
Okay. I got it mixed up with the Village Voice. Yeah, Aquarian Weekly, New Jersey.
It was it was on regular like newspaper paper, but in like a booklet form.
Mm-hmm.
Might be still around, I don't know. But there was a promotion company called McCool Productions. So if you're from the Lehigh Valley, you might remember that name.
McCool Productions.
And it has other ads on this page, but at the bottom there's an ad for Rush for the Allentown Fairgrounds, and there's a cool caricature of the three of them. And I have that framed in my basement.
So you knew Moving Pictures already. Tom Sawyer was from Moving Pictures, right?
Yeah.
So you knew Moving Pictures already, and 2112 and such. I think you were already rocking and into Rush, or were you just going to a concert? I guess that's what I'm wondering.
I'm going to see when this Moving Pictures came out, because
I believe it came out in that summer, because you and I went to Wildwood when Tom Sawyer came out. You and I were it was a new song, and you and I were at Wildwood as after 8th grade. And we were down there, and Tom Sawyer had just come out. So I'm guessing summer of that year.
No, this is what's odd. I don't know why I don't have it noted here. The album didn't come out till February.
Of what year?
Of 81. The tour started September 11th.
Wait, 81? I thought you were in 84. Oh, you're back in 81, yeah.
Well, when I saw him was 1980.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Three weeks into meeting your friend there, yeah.
There were 95 shows, but it says September 11th, 1980 to July 5th, 81.
Yeah.
And the album came out February 12th, 81.
That's pretty weird. Odd. Yes, that's odd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there probably was a couple singles. I think I knew because we talked about Z95 radio station, which still actually plays the same set list from 1980. But I knew Free Will. I don't know if Limelight was on, might have been on Moving Pictures.
Can't remember.
Yeah, okay. Maybe they were already playing like Limelight or Tom Sawyer on the radio, released as a single.
Yeah.
I definitely knew Free Will. I love Free Will. Now, another song I love that is not on this set list is Fly By Night. They didn't do.
Huh.
That would have been like 4 or 5 years before this tour.
Somebody's probably tired of it. Someone said, let's leave that one off.
Yeah. So they started out with 2112.
Cool.
Overture. Free Will, Limelight. They had some weird named songs too. Cygnus, 11, Book 2, Hemispheres. Beneath, Between, and Behind, The Camera Eye. I know that one. YYZ.
Love that one.
Then there was a drum solo. Brunsbane, The Trees. I like that song, The Trees. Xanadu. That's Olivia Newton-John, but The Spirit of Radio. That was another one. Red Barchetta, which is on
Screaming Red Barchetta.
I love Red.
Yes.
Closer to the Heart, Tom Sawyer, Vital Signs, Natural Science. They did a lot of songs. Working Man. They did, looks like another instrumental from Hemispheres. By Tour and the Snow Dog.
Don't know that one.
In the End, In the Mood, and 2112 Grand Finale. 24 songs.
Cool.
They did.
Yeah. And how much of it do you remember? That's going to be the big question because, What do you remember from it?
I don't remember much from the, musically, that's these concerts, because after you've heard these songs so many times too, it kind of blurs.
Yeah.
I do remember standing there, and then passing the joint around. I can picture it in my head. There were people around us. I don't know if they were smoking. That's basically what.
Yeah, but emotionally, the feel was positive and good.
Oh yeah,
because I'm in this new place with a new friend with a new joint, and this is a unique experience, right?
Yeah.
And they're freaking rocking, Neil Peart's in front of you, rocking out, man.
And my first concert, actually seeing the performers, live, in person, rather than on. We didn't have MTV. We didn't have music videos. We didn't, like I mentioned this before, you could go to the record store and buy, I think, bootleg concerts and stuff like that if you wanted to see concerts.
Yeah, I don't remember access to that, though, no.
I think I don't know when VHS came out. Might have been then, but anyway. But I wasn't buying a lot at 14. I probably still had a paper route. Maybe.
When you did, it was a gamble. You had to really gamble on whether you're going to like it or not.
I'm just wondering how I talked my parents into letting me go, because they weren't concert goers, and I didn't have older siblings that took me to concerts.
Yeah, they loved you and they wanted you to get out.
Yeah.
They're like, Robbie is going to get out.
Yeah.
Let's let him get out. There's no such thing as pot in this county.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel as far as a music lover, and that for me, when people ask what was your first concert, I feel I had one of the coolest first concerts.
Right.
I think is Rush and Moving Pictures.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
because
some people, I think my wife's first concert was maybe the Monkees. But not way back.
Yeah. She's not that old.
This would have been the 80s, late 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
But I've seen people put Captain and Tennille. Would you want that to be your first?
Yeah, your first love.
Yeah, your first concert. So kids out there, if you haven't gone to a concert yet, make sure you pick a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No Captain and Tennille for you.
Because when you're, 30 years from now,
when you're 105,
you want it to be something cool.
But you know what I realized I didn't know where you went for your Rush concert.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what special location that is for me?
Your first kiss?
No. That's funny. Under the bleachers.
Yeah.
No, I believe
the first time you were kicked by a mule.
I believe it was my first concert, just like yours.
What? No, get out of here.
Yes.
Well, that was the place to go.
Yeah. So my first concert, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but it was Def Leppard and Crocus and another hard rocking band. And it was outdoor bleachers.
That would have been 83.
Yeah.
That was the concert that I couldn't go to.
Right. That you probably want.
That was like 1983.
You probably got the tickets for me. And then,
I did.
Yeah.
I think we were going.
Mm-hmm.
And then I couldn't go.
So I had to take your ticket. Yeah. But I do want to say.
Horrible eye accident.
I do want to say one thing about my first concert, though, and that is that Crocus destroyed their instruments on stage. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not into like Scorpions. It's like they were like Def Leppard, Scorpions, and but Crocus destroyed their guitars and hitting their amps. So this is my first concert, right? I haven't even seen Def Leppard yet.
Why are they?
No, I was thinking, do they all do this?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was pretty weird for me because I have not seen. I don't think I've seen.
Are you sure that was your first concert from '83? Because
why?
And I'm pretty sure went to see the Stray Cats, but it would depend on what date. Yeah. Maybe Stray Cats was your second concert because I know that was '83.
Yeah, we'll have to work that out later without our listeners. Yep.
Bill Cosby, though.
Yeah, well, he wasn't playing music.
No, but that was our first.
That was 80.
First event.
Yeah, I believe it was 80.
And we shall not talk about
the bill.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit that out. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, it's been great going down memory lane.
Oh yeah.
With you. Yeah.
And we have, like I said, we've been to many concerts. So who knows? We might do talk about more concerts next year. Or, there's a bevy of stories we have too.
Plethora of bevies.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Thank you everybody for listening.
All right, and turn off the TV.
And turn up that music.
Peace out.
See ya. You've been listening to No Good Music, intro and exit music by the band 99%. Today's show is produced and edited by Rob J. Lilly and recorded at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts.